Welcome to Resource Sessions. I'm Gwendolyn Sterk with Sterk Family Law Group, and I'm honored and privileged to have Sherry and Bonnie, who are representative of Trinity Services in our own backyard in New Lenox. So, Sherry, look, Trinity Services is a well known organization, but sometimes people really need to have a refresher about what is it that is your historical background and what is it that you provide in our community.
Oh, sure. Thanks for having us. Uh, I'm the Director of Development here at Trinity Services, and we just celebrated our 75th anniversary last year. Uh,
Incredible.
yeah, Trinity was founded by a handful of parents from Joliet that were looking for a school for their children who were not afforded a free and public education at the time. And the community really came together from civic organizations to individuals to raise the funds to construct the building. And so since that time, we have grown to provide a myriad of services, including residential services, community day services. We still have our school program. We have outpatient behavioral health services, which Bonnie will talk about in a bit. We also have supported employment and job coaching available for people with disabilities and people with mental health needs seeking support to obtain and retain jobs. And we have a therapeutic horseback riding program and petting zoo in Manhattan on Galva Road, which is a fun program as well.
Sure.
Um, yes, I know I'm probably missing some, so Bonnie, jump in if I am missing anything. But our residential services include like single family homes where, a typical neighborhood where most of us live in, apartment living for people who have greater independent skills. And then we have a more a living arrangement where people who have more skilled needs can live as well. So it's a wide variety of services. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about shared living for people. It's sort of like an adult foster care model, if you will, but it is another option for people seeking support in that regard.
Wow, that's a huge list, a laundry list of things that you do. What is the basic community that you serve? Is it people within our area? Can you describe that for us, please?
Yes. So we literally have a presence in about 37 Illinois communities across 9 counties. However, the primary area where we are most located is here in Will County, south suburban suburbs, Will County, Grundy County, DuPage County. We're down as far as St. Clair County near Belleville and O'Fallon area. And then we're in Peoria. And then up in Des Plaines is where our other main hub is of offices and supports.
And with regard to that, the individuals that you service and the families, I mean, traditionally it was known for schooling, if I'm correct. And then over the years, it's really expanded to also provide the other behavioral health and emotional support that people need. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'm going to turn that over to Bonnie to expound on that.
Fair enough. Because Bonnie, I mean, I think that that's more of the understanding today. And I'm asking this for people, in our community who have maybe a different understanding of Trinity than when it first or when we would have had this conversation years ago.
Sure. I'm Bonnie Hassan. I'm the director of our outpatient community-based behavioral health services. We currently provide traditional outpatient counseling services and diagnostic testing type services out of locations throughout Will County, Grundy County, DuPage, and South Suburban Cook. We have 7 sites currently. In addition to our traditional kind of outpatient services that serve people throughout their lifespan, we start with kids and work our way up through adults. Um, we also have been providing more crisis services more recently, probably within the last 6 to 10-ish years. We have some partnerships with first responders. We are the mobile crisis response team provider for Will County. We just recently started providing those specialized mobile crisis services for kids in Will County through the SAS program. We also provide those services in South Cook, the mobile crisis team. For adults, we have a living room that's a crisis walk-in center that's open 24 hours. Right now, we have one in Joliet. We're working on one in Grundy County that is scheduled to be open in the fall. Um, we also provide homeless and community support services. So for people who need those types of housing supports, we can provide rapid rehousing and also kind of wrap around mental health, substance use, peer support type services, helping people find employment, connect to benefits, those kinds of things that people might need.
Right. I mean, the gamut of the services you provide to individuals, where traditionally maybe the schooling side today, it's just incredible the amount of outreach that you have, because I know that a lot of people with the crisis intervention services and living room services, they really find that to be the key aspect. And some people have this belief that that's what Trinity Services do. And I try to tell them, no, there is so much more to that. So I'm curious.
Sorry, actually, oh, sorry.
Yeah. How did that evolve? I mean, it's just such an incredible, breadth of services. That's why I'm trying to understand that.
Yeah, so way back in around 99, 2000, Trinity had been working with the family counseling agency in Will County, and they were having some difficulty with, I think, insurance contracting Medicaid. I wasn't involved at that time. That's my understanding of what was happening. So they merged with us. And at so that point, we kind of acquired some counseling centers and started doing more of that outpatient counseling for people in the community. And when I came over to this side, probably about 16 years ago, um, we were starting to look at things like how we could better support the communities that we were in. Are there different gaps that we're seeing? So we started doing some school-based therapies. We started doing some outreach with first responders, and our crisis programs really started growing from a partnership with some first responders in the Orland Park area. And from that, we started responding to calls in real time and helping families who are going through some rough patches, and kind of started seeing some different opportunities to really support our communities through some of these other crisis programs.
Sure. And I think we could do a whole podcast just on that crisis, but I want to flip over to the education side. Tell us a little bit about that history, that evolution, and how that looks today. I know that you have the Scylla type homes and all the different alternatives for people with disabilities, but really, it's my understanding you're really providing those services at all ages.
Well, residentially, people have to be 18 years or older. So,
Right. But in terms of your schooling and stuff,
oh yes, and so as far as school goes, it goes from 3 to the age of 22. And ideally, the students come from school districts that cannot meet their needs. And the goal is to always help develop the supports that they can best become more independent enough to go back to their home school district. And, ideally, you'd like to see that happen, within a couple of years. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily happen because they have more significant needs. So it is a wide range of support that the kids need, but it's still one of the programs that, was founded, that this organization was founded on. And so when they leave the school system, some of them will come and live at Trinity. Some will go on to other places. And some will come to stay with their families, and then come to our our community-based day services.
that's correct, right. And it seems to me that a lot of families often miss that gap, at least as from a legal standpoint, they're not always really prepared for that to happen. And so for our viewers and our listeners, I want to say that, getting involved with Trinity early on and understanding what your options are from that school piece, then eventually looking at those residential options, if that's something that families are interested in, for the day program, because pre-planning this really becomes a critical issue and understanding what that's going to look like, correct?
You are so right, and I can tell you, I speak as a parent. So I have a 35-year-old son with autism who moved into Trinity, one of their homes, 2 years ago. And prior to that, he was involved in one of the day programs here. And prior to that, when he was younger, he was involved in the autism program here. And I can't tell you how much peace of mind it gave me to start exploring different options for my son, to know that, it wasn't going to happen for several years, but I at least knew what to expect, and to talk to as many people as you possibly can about what adult services looks like in terms of guardianship and in terms of funding and SSI and all those things. It is important to start that planning and those conversations early, so that you're in the best position to make decisions that or help your loved one make the best decision they possibly can with the most information.
So it's my understanding that if someone is listening today and they're in that situation, maybe they have a child that's in a school program now, maybe not at Trinity yet, maybe needs to be at Trinity, maybe going to be in that situation with lifelong care, for them to help and reach out to somebody to have that conversation. It's my understanding that Trinity will help them and give guidance and options and giving some information. Like you said, getting that guardianship, getting on the puns list, doing the things that you need to be doing earlier on, correct?
Right. In fact, I do get a lot of those phone calls myself, but also every March we have a developmental disabilities awareness night, because March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. And what we do is we put on a very informal presentation with many different leadership staff here at Trinity, and we take people through how to choose a provider. What is the puns list, all about guardianship, and that's just, I shouldn't say all about, but a snippet of guardianship and the important things you need to do, to employment, and so that they understand what the adult services looks like and what they need to do to prepare. So we do that
Think
every
that's
March.
wonderful. Yeah, and I think that's an important program for people to hear about. And if you're in that situation, you really should reach out and get that information. Where would they find that? Is that available on your website, on your Facebook pages, or another social media?
Yes, it is. We're talking about putting one on in November, because we have a lot of people that don't want to wait for another year when they miss it. So I will be sure to put that out there. The best way to keep up with Trinity Services is through our website and Facebook, because that stuff is instantaneous. We can make that change very quickly. And people can look at our website and say, yes, I'd like to join your mailing list. Please send me your newsletter. And they can get that in their inbox as well.
And that's absolutely fantastic, because as an attorney, we always encourage people to reach out to entities like yours, especially yours, because you're going to give them that education and that piece that's there. There are new, and just for people's information, there's a lot of new economic tools that are available today.
Mhm.
The guardianships, doing it earlier, the better, like you say, to understand what those options are going to be. So let's switch over, Bonnie, to the other behavioral health area, because somebody's in need of therapy and they don't even know where to turn, and they open a phone book and what do we do? Toss a penny in the air and see which one it lands on? How is it? Well, I guess we don't even have pennies anymore. We'd have to do that with a nickel now. But how is it, that somebody can reach out and understand that? Because I think a lot of people, I think that the stigma is not as serious as it used to be, but finding that right connection can sometimes be paralyzing. So how should somebody start with that?
Sure. I mean, we have on our website, there's information about how to contact us. There's an intake email. My email is on there, and our phone number directly. So sometimes people just call us directly and ask questions. We really try hard to take all forms of insurance and to be able to work with everyone, and also have options for people who are um, maybe have high copays and things like that. Our goal as a nonprofit is to be able to serve everyone, regardless of those barriers. So if the person comes to us and for whatever reason we don't have somebody that can meet their needs of what they're looking for, we will help them try to find something else, and we will help connect them, and we'll provide whatever services they need till they get to that point. But really the easiest way is to call our Joliet office or send an email to our, we call it FCC intake at trinityservices.org. FCC stands for Family Counseling Center. That is what we called our counseling center side. But really that goes to a whole team of people, so that someone is monitoring that constantly. So you get a quick response.
Right. No, and I appreciate that because I think it gives you the gamut of possibilities that are there. And also, not only the individual that might be looking for behavioral health, but also the family that's looking for that support, right? Because behavioral health, and especially in your crisis services that you have, sometimes you need to make local people aware of it, help them understand what's going on so that you can best service that individual. So I know you've done an incredible amount of work on that crisis intervention side. Can you explain some of that and identify it?
Sure. So we talked a little bit about the living rooms, those 24-hour walk-in site for that's an adult-only service. We've started to work on a teen wellness center so that teenagers have a place that they can also walk in and talk to somebody right away, and get some support in place. That's not 24 hours at the moment. It's in our Joliet location. Right now during the summer, they're doing 10 to 6, but that'll adjust to evening hours after school starts. And then we have mobile crisis response team. If you call that number, you can talk to somebody on the phone. You can walk into one of our sites 24/7, or we can come to you. So we will go out into the community, meet people wherever they're at their home, in a parking lot at the Lowe's, wherever somebody is. They're looking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, sometimes people aren't comfortable having us come right into the house, so if they have a public place that they'd like to meet,
Yeah.
and we'll come out and talk to them and see what's going on, and there is a little bit of a screening to see if somebody needs something, needs some more additional, like, crisis support right away, but if not, we'll talk to them, help them de-escalate the situation, and then connect them to the ongoing supports that they need.
Sure, and I think that de-escalation, sometimes a lot of unnecessary, let's call it a legal word, hoopla comes out of a situation that gets blown out of proportion, right? And really that service to have a place to go to calm down, de-escalate, and understand options to deal with something can be so incredibly helpful. So really good organization, really great opportunity for everybody. I know that in our own firm, we promote the living room as an option and promote different services that you provide because there are so much out there that people can reach out to. Now, let's say that somebody's listening and they're saying, well, I appreciate all the services that are rendered, you know, but for the grace of God go I, but I'm not in need of that. But I want to support Trinity because I know that I'm one step away from needing those services too. And that's my view of life. You know, we can all say what we are, but we're one step away from being there ourselves. So, how is it that somebody listening today could get involved with this an organization and help you?
Well, thank you for asking that important question. People can become involved with Trinity in a number of ways. They can volunteer, they can attend one of our events. In fact, we have our next event, which is our Trinity Dinner Dance and Auction on September 18th at Denolfo's in Homer Glen. We just had our 5K last month. We had 545 runners and walkers participate, which was a record for us. We also have a pickleball event in
Huh.
March that sold out within a week, so we know that was a big hit. We have a golf outing in May. So there are many different ways to become involved. You can go to our website and you can click the Donate Now button. We are actually in the process of redesigning our website, so we'll have a new look in a couple of months. But if you aren't sure how you would like to help, there are a number of different ways that you can contribute to Trinity Services financially, and I can help walk you through that. You can reach me or anybody really at Trinity by using the info@trinityservices.org email address. That comes directly to me. And then say something comes in and it's a question for Bonnie's team, I will fire it off to her and we'll connect people to the appropriate resource here at Trinity Services. But they can also call 815-717-3750, which is the direct line to my office here in the fundraising department. And any other mechanism for helping spread the word to Trinity Services, we'd welcome. If you're involved in a civic group and you'd like to have one of us come out and speak about our organization, we do that a lot as well. So we're just grateful for the opportunity to let people know that we are a resource to them and an asset to the community.
Well, you sure are an asset to our community, I will say that. And you have an absolutely beautiful building there in New Lenox that people can go by and meet you. Bonnie, is there anything you'd like to add to that that talks about why you're at Trinity, the blessings that you're able to see from the services you provide?
Sure. I think one of the things that we've really been focusing on our outpatient community mental health side is trying to help people access resources sooner, um, earlier on before we were hitting that crisis level. Help them if we do hit that level to be able to get to the support that they need, but also kind of help people answer that question: where do I go? Where do I get help? And I think a lot of the things that we've put in place over the last couple of years is really in service of that. So it is great to see the word spread about our services and supports, and I'm just really thankful to be part of this today to be able to spread that further. I didn't give the crisis number earlier when I talked, so I do want to give that now if anyone needs that. It is 815-320-7300. That call is answered 24 hours a day, and it's also listed on our website. So if you didn't catch it, you can always find it there.
Absolutely. Well, what a privilege it was for us to have an opportunity to have a conversation with the great work that you're doing. If you're listening today, please reach out to Trinity for other items. Please, parents, attend their opportunity and their resource meetings that they have that they're going to have twice this year, because what an opportunity that is. And for our community, we really thank you for the crisis work that you do as well. So thank you so much for being with us today.
The privilege is ours. Thank you.